4th Street. Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. And obviously, just general share advice and not personal advice. And normal service is resumed. The wolf is back from. He's meant to go for 1 week, and then it's a pretty tough time, and then it ended up in 2 weeks. But eventually, you're back, Mr. Wolf.
Yes, glad to be back. And I know you struggled on your own because, without you, it's like basically a snake without a head, right? So here I am. I'm back. Look, the good thing is, Dave, is that the 2 weeks was pretty poor in the markets, right? It was fairly.
Yeah, thanks for leaving me stuck with that. I had everyone crying on my shoulder, like I was giving out tissues outside the office to people, and you're just having fun in Bali. Well, and your Bali was great. Did you find some? Did you do a bit of rock searching in Bali, Wolf?
No, it was all about having a bit of a holiday, but unfortunately, of course, the second part of the trip wasn't great. So I did another holiday, Dave. I'm going to go for another 2 weeks next week.
Okay, well, that's all right. Thank God.
Panic. No, I'm not going anywhere for a little while.
That's all right. That's right. I'll go with you. We'll leave Wayne in charge. He's doing well. Anyway, while you're gone, I did a little TV show as well. So
I heard you have become a star.
Yeah, I know. It's like signing autographs, all that sort of stuff afterwards, but yeah, seriously. So thanks for leaving me in the lurch. You were meant to do that show with me, but not to worry. Okay, Wolf. And by the way, Claude stepped in really well for you.
Yeah, I haven't looked, unfortunately, but I heard.
And he was getting a lot of nice comments from the ladies as well. More than you.
Hang on a second. More than me? No,
yeah,
that can't be right.
Yeah, mate. Some of your best fans have moved over. He's got it all. He's young. He's good looking.
I flimsy friends. Fans. I've got ones that are with me like roadies.
I'm a bit worried about him actually, Wolfie. He's like good looking. I think he might be smarter than me. He's younger. He's like he knows more. I don't know.
We're in trouble, basically.
I don't think we'll have him back. Actually, I think it's like.
I know. It might just look like a couple of.
Yeah, no. But anyway, I am looking forward, in all seriousness, to having you both on together, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. So okay. We'll try and organise that maybe sometime in the next 2 weeks, because the more brains there. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, well, look, one is better than two. Sorry, two is better than one, I suppose, right?
Well, three is better than two.
Yeah, but you got nothing in your head, so it's just two.
The dark arts.
Yes. Okay. Well. Okay. You can add your little bit of dark art stuff. Fair enough.
All right. Okay. Now, good to have you back anyway, Wolf. So let's take it from the top. Stocks out today. IPL, which Wolf, it's holding quite a nice trend. I had a little bit of a bounce back up to 4. I like it. I'll still be holding this. Announcement good enough to hold?
Look, I think the market's just saying doesn't know what to do with it at the moment. There's two things here happening with IPL. Obviously, pretty good result. You got to give it that. I mean, huge improvement because they've had some issues previously, but obviously with this agriculture boom and fueled by the war and everything else that's going around the globe, they should be doing well. And you can see by the numbers there's huge improvements. So from that point of view, I think it's good. It just depends whether the market was prepared for this. Is it hit it? Is it just fell below? I'm not so sure because I don't follow the stock too closely, but we'll find out probably tomorrow from the brokers. But the other interesting bit was for me, second announcement post this was that they are going to split the business into two: the Dyno Nobel business, which is the explosive business, and the fertilizer business, which is the Incitec Pivot business. So funny enough, the Dyno Nobel, that used to be an entity in its own many years ago, right? Then it was taken over a few times, went through a few hands, went through Orica's, then obviously now IPL. So it's going to go back to being a single entity and possibly being in the crosshairs again, probably 2 or 3 years time to some private equity again. And it starts again, right? But I think it's a good move for me because while both businesses use similar inputs and products, very different, right? You've got commodities, right, mining versus agriculture, clash, right? Very different. So I understand why it's going to be done, and from that point of view, I think it's probably good.
Brilliant, Wolf. And yeah, listen, I think if you're still in the trade, I'd be holding it.
Yeah, just wait till tomorrow at least, you know,
Yeah,
and see what happens.
Wolf, we're going to do Elders now because we just hit our target price again, $15. So we're doing well on this one, Wolf. It's been a good little trade. I think we're up nearly 25-30% on this one. And again, look at the price action. You know, why did you sell that? And if you're in it, you're going to be lifting your stop loss. And you know, most probably I have to change that stop loss on it now, Wolf. So
Going to 16, Dave. I've put my foot down. It's going to 16. A reason why it's cheap. Trading on 14 times with today upgrade. It's probably trading on about 13 now. And remember, we love upgrades, right? That's why we're picking this. So that's going to probably 16 by the time next cycle of results come through, which is going to be, hang on, May, November for these guys. So we're looking for 16 price target, and look, it could possibly get up then past it even if this sort of markets continue.
It's in the right space, isn't it? Obviously.
Absolutely. I mean, an upgrade in this market, hallelujah, you keep that story in your, you know, and probably have the biggest position in Elders.
So I think again on that weekly level, Wolf, you can lift that stop loss to around 14.45, right? Yep. And we'll lift that target price to 16 bucks. How does that sound?
It sounds great. And just to add a little bit more fuel to the fire, pretty much they've said one of the key bits in there, they said is every single division is firing on all cylinders. You can't get any better than that. Excellent,
fantastic, and great to see picking winners, Wolf. That's good. Now another winner we did pick Alders. That's actually sorry, Ampol. That has hit the target price last week, so congratulations on that one. And you know what, it still looks okay. I mean, if you got out, took a profit, great. If you're in it, absolutely fine. Just use the stop losses provided.
Just live with Alders for Alders. I'm following you. I've got this disease that you say something bad and I just follow you.
Yeah, Ampol.
Now, there's a very interesting article, I think 2 or 3 days ago. The small company talking about converting car washes into electric vehicle charging stations, right? And of course, we know that Ampol is doing that themselves. They've got petrol stations which are going to have spaces for the electric vehicles charging stations as well. I think this is a great space still, right? So even though they oil and gas, they are moving definitely. They're going to have both worlds. They're going to have electric vehicles coming in. They're going to have the petrol. This is still a great company. I'll be keeping this one as long as I can. You know, if you're going just the path of electric vehicles, you know, you are concentrating your risk into one space, but I'd rather have both.
Well, Wolf, it might be even more lucrative because when you charge your car up, it's not like putting gas in. It takes 2 minutes. It takes 2 hours, doesn't it? Well, so are they going to have like coffee shops, or maybe you're going to have a whole shopping center where you can do shopping for 2 hours as your car's charging? I don't know.
They are these days, Dave. I know you're technology wise. They are moving ahead, right? Yeah. But now the charging stations are going to take no longer than 15 minutes. So it's going to be good. But yeah, look, it's great to have a convenience store, absolutely, because you're going to probably stop going to pay for your petrol or for your charge, and you're going to go, oh, I like that Snickers bar or whatever. You're still going to probably buy something, and we do that all the time. So I still prefer that model.
Wolf, so you're saying, because I was in a Tesla the other day, and he used it as an Uber, the guy. Oh, yeah. And it's really interesting car, actually. It's amazing. It just had this big computer screen in the middle. But he said it took him 2 hours. But what you're saying is that
probably, right? That's probably at home, charging at home.
Yeah. Okay. So the bigger ones have a much more powerful.
Yeah, the technology probably at the petrol station, the electric vehicle charging stations are going to be much better than at home.
So good. It's so good to see this, isn't it? Next stock, Wolf.
Yep.
Daft. So I actually put the chart on. I thought that looks good, and now it's called DAF, but it's Daft. It's daft. The whole thing's daft, right? So they haven't got lithium. It's in Alaska. You can't find anywhere more
Remote.
outbeat, remote. Polar bears.
Oh, you can maybe Greenland.
No, I don't know. It's Alaska. I think it's worse than Greenland, isn't it? But well, you got polar bears. It's all happening, right? It's freezing cold. Ask Captain Scott. He didn't like it. It didn't work out for him, did it? Well,
But look, let's forget about that they're going to Alaska. The fact is that it's going up 50% on a sniff of, I don't know, some lithium. Whoop-de-doo-da. Like I said, don't people realize that lithium is one of the most abundant bloody metals on the planet? I mean, it's probably going to be, you're going to probably find some background lithium in your backyard.
Well, Wolf, don't tell anyone. There's lithium everywhere in the office here. Sorry, yeah, there's lithium in the walls. Apparently, it's like
I just find it strange that it's still, you've got a bit of a whiff of of lithium announcement, and it just goes up crazy in this market. It's just ludicrous.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's funny because lithium had a little bit of again another move last week, Wolf, which is really. I think there's two. You might be interested in this because you haven't seen it, but there's two lithium stocks. So you got Mineral got a little buy signal on.
Okay.
And there's actually there was another one with a little buy signal on, which was, if you bear with me, I'll tell you. You can tell how excited I was about this because I can't even remember which one it was.
Well, Dave, I'll just give you a quick little story while you're doing that. So I'm here at unfortunately. My stepbrother or my mum's husband passed away, right? So we were obviously at the funeral, and then we went to the wake. So what am I doing at the wake? Talking business, talking stocks that are good, that are going up. None of this, poor, the deaths and so on. We're talking, what's good on the market. Is it mineral resources going up? This never ends.
Do you get any money, Wolf?
Well, I've given a few numbers out. Yes.
What?
See what happens.
No, no inheritance, nothing in the world.
No.
Oh God, so you're still poor.
Yes, unfortunately, because this is the sort of job I'm in. There's no money.
Wolf, the other one was AKE, of course.
Yes. Yeah, but anyway, don't they?
Yeah, well, the lithium story started having a little bit more interest. I'm actually quite surprised. So, right. And the reason being, Wolf, is that generally speaking, I think that they're talking about recession in the UK, and I'm just waiting for these commodities to. I think we've got to be careful. I know the commodities are booming and it's all boom, but I think the commodities will come off sometime in the next 2 months. Because if we do get a world recession, then I think everything will slow down, Mr. Wolf.
Yes. Yeah. It looks like we've got a pretty tough time at the moment. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult to make some money.
Wolf, CDA. Now, I know we don't buy that sort of price action, but could move up today, 15% so far. This is
a classic contrarian play, Dave. We know we've talked about this many times now. When do you buy it? Right? We know the story is good. They keep delivering updates that are reasonably good. Right, that the market's saying, okay, well, it's not as bad as we thought. That's why is the sell down? It's actually not bad. Is it tied up with the gold price? Yes, possibly. Still come up today saying you're going to have record result by the end of the year, right? FY 2022. Trading on what? Let me just double check the numbers. It's still, I think, about 14 times or something.
Well, we're gonna have record profits. They say it'll be MindLab's second best year ever.
It's actually trading on 12 times, Dave. It's exactly. So this is, and again, I've just actually this morning. This is the thing. I've been this morning reading someone who've been doing this for 30 years since they're, being a fund manager, doing this for 30 years, and he's been outperforming the markets. And he says this is exactly the stuff I buy. CDAs of the world where the markets sold down because of short-termism, right? I'm looking for quality. I'm looking for great management. I'm looking for track records, and I'm looking for the future, long term. That's the sort of contrarian things. He doesn't bother him. And this is like, me. I'm here for the long term. I want to buy stuff that I can sit there for 3 to 5 years at a decent price. So yes, it's the only thing that's stopping us, of course, is the chart. But what do we do? What do we do? When do we get into this stuff? That's probably a question for more for you than me, because I'm happy with this. I mean, today's result was again another indication that the story is actually still very good. So what do you do?
Well, listen, if you look at the daily, it's yeah. I mean, hello, right? Poked his head up, right? So, but you're saying obviously a daily chart, you've got to have a long-term view. You've got to have a long-term view. Now, Wolf, it's not how we do it. We don't buy anything under trend lines, right? You know that. But so it goes out of my technical system, or what we like to use at Equities Story. So over to you. It's a fundamental call.
But the thing is, the question is, do I override your technicals?
You're very welcome to.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to tell me off for, it's not going up.
The issue is, Wolf, what it could do, right? It could just bounce up here. It could go, it could go sideways for another year. But we're not saying that. You're talking from a long-term point of view.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking at that next 2 years, right? At least.
Well, why can't we put a contrarian play on?
Well, we can. We can add onto our portfolio anything we want, as long as we both agree that we do that for one or two stocks. So I'm happy. Look, this is a great candidate for that. If you look through that announcement today, things are going okay. I mean, no doubt about it. Yes, it is being possibly pushed around by the war. It's being pushed around by the inflation, right? No doubt, and gold prices as well. But gold price is still holding up reasonably over $1,800. So there's still.
Oh, it's going high, by the way, gold.
Oh, there you go. Well, so
it's going to have it's just range trading at the gold. So I think the gold stocks will do quite well over the next few weeks.
The thing is, this is what I do, right? Long term. Okay, we've seen how many weeks now? 1, 2, 3, 4, about 8 or 9, 10 weeks. 10 weeks of round about the $7, right? So let's say $7 is our line of defense. We buy it at 773 today, and we go with it. We go contrarian play. This is, I think we're gonna go play something completely different. And in fact, Dave, what we're gonna do over the next 2 weeks, we're gonna find 5 contrarian plays, and we're gonna do the same thing with them.
Well, we've got to have, Wolf. It's not a trending market; it's a value market.
We got to take advantage of the sales, right? Somehow. So let's take 5 stocks that really are still coming up with good announcements. That's a key. It's got to come up with good announcement. Second of all, it's got a still good outlook, good management, profitable, very, very important, and it's been smashed and it's cheap. So we've got this. This is pretty much ticks all the boxes here. So this is number 1. Let's go. We've had a false start before with this, but let's go again.
Right. I'm just trying to work out what we call this. It's going to be a contrarian play. It's actually not in our list of options. Oh, that's how conservative we are. 3. We'll just say 3-year growth, right?
Okay. Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to buy this at. But this is only for long-term holders, right?
Yeah,
so guys, please don't. If it's back down to sort of 750 in 2 weeks. Yeah. Give us a call in about a year if it's not working out, right? So we're going to take a long-term view. And
if it comes back in 2 weeks down to 7, don't fret. I mean, remember, 7 is our last line of defense. So let's say 690, 680, somewhere there would be probably time to get out. But it shouldn't. On the numbers, it's giving. What's it going to drop down to? 8 times earnings on growth. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I think. Where's the stop loss on it?
You pick the stop loss there. I'll give you some work to do. You can't just get away with it and just give me all the bad stuff. If we're going to go with the ship, we're going together.
All right, we'll do 698. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll give it 690. Can we just give it that extra 8 cents?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. It's like, I mean, if you actually look at it, and this is why it's quite interesting, because you could put your stop loss under $6, right? I'm just playing, right?
Yeah.
And you could say your downside is 25%, but your upside could be
significant. I mean, this is the
200
thing. It's they've
200% over
yeah,
time.
absolutely. So, and that's why it makes sense for me to, just put up 5 contrarian plays. Just see how we go.
Right.
Especially in this market when nothing's really, well, not many things are trending. So we got to find another way of buying some really good stories.
Yeah, and also, what I like about it, Wolf pays a nice little 4% dividend.
There you go.
Yeah,
Bonus,
it's huge bonus.
okay, we've got some.
All right. Next stock. Which one was that? Was that everything?
Yeah, the only thing I want to talk about, yeah, there is actually pretty much everything except one thing we didn't talk about when we got together before the vid, and that is MGH. Can we just have a look at the chart on that one? Because it was one of our little favorites that was sort of doing okay. And I know the market's last 2 weeks has probably brought it back to a peg or two, but it's still holding on just. They had a pretty good update today. And well, just, one of those presentations to see how they are going. And most of it's pretty positive in there. So I'm still, if you're in it, it's still a hold. And I know maybe you could have sold out about 2 weeks ago, right? Which is okay. But if you're still in it, it's a hold, MGH. And it's, fairly diversified Australia. Remember, I like the theme of Australia first at the moment. This is a little bit less risks than outside of Australia. So for me, that looks good. So I'm happy with that MGH as still, if you're in that, still a hold, but I wouldn't be obviously buying it, but just wanted to mention that today's presentation was fairly positive.
Wolf, just have a look at Einstein's. Obviously, I think Min's starting to go for that buy signal. Okay, we'll see. I'm sure it's actually had a lovely price action. The price action was superb. CXM looking reasonably good. I thought MCR had a nice looking chart. EMR starting to go for that bullish signal. It didn't quite have a. I mean, I quite like to look at down near trend and starting to turn up. So I didn't mind that. And I thought, look at LYC. Look at the recovery of that. That was just ridiculous, Wolf. It just shows, doesn't it? You've got to wait to the end of the week. Bang, up it goes, and looks very, very, very interesting. So, and obviously Elders and I think our RIC. Mate, this. What we saw last week was AAC have a great announcement. The writing was on the wall, wasn't it, for Elders?
I told you just before we went online, right? I said, little agriculture is always flies under the radar. It never gets never gets a mention. It's just boring. And finally, after 30 years, Dave, it's the time of agriculture stocks. Finally, they are the best performing stocks.
Well, they need it. It's great to see. I mean, it's always the bankers that have been driving Ferraris, and so now it's going to be the farmers.
And you know what? It might not be short-lived. It might be go on for a little while because we've got all these floods, fires, and everything else. Not just the war that's affecting it. I think that there's a whole slew of things that potentially could see this go much longer than maybe investors expect. Remember we talked about that. A lot of the things that happen on the markets, it's always beyond people's expectations. So upside, downside, it always goes below or up further. This could be the same for the agriculture.
Definitely. Now, Wolf, just before you go, we had the elections.
Yes.
I don't think it looks like, I think there's a possibility Labour will have a majority. It's still up and down, right? But one thing that's for sure is that renewables, energy, climate change is a big winner on this election. And I think you already hear Albanese jumping onto the bandwagon saying, they're going to go for it big time. How's that going to affect us with some of these companies? Is it I mean, I'm looking now, they're holding up actually pretty well, all the coal stocks. I mean, they're not green, slightly down, but they're holding up. I think they would have done a lot better if it hadn't been for the election. But which companies would you be a little bit concerned about or might have issues? Would it be the coal stocks? Would it be the oil stocks? Or
Look, I don't think I'd be too concerned about the mining stocks as such, because if we're going to be moving away from fossil industry, right, with the Greens maybe having a balance of power, or maybe the Labor being pretty strong on climate, it's not going to happen overnight. It's probably going to be a gradual thing, and it's more about the actual prices of coal and iron ore and everything else underneath it. I think it's more about what are the stocks in green space that maybe could have a bit of a run. That's maybe more for me of interest, less about, oh, that's going to go bad. Nah, I think it's more about what Labor might do for some of these green stocks, maybe give them some incentives, maybe give them some funding, whatever, right, for them to actually do better and go quicker. So, the stocks like CXLs, that has done remarkably well, and maybe some others, which probably we need to start looking at a bit more detail, but this doesn't look too bad at all on the chart.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, on that note, I think it's just Wolf. The only trouble with the markets are very forward thinking, aren't they? But maybe not quite that far forward thinking at the moment. So as long as I get very protective. Our war stocks are the only place really we can make money at the moment. I don't want anyone ruining that.
No, your war stocks are my agriculture stocks.
Yeah.
Your favorite little sectors.
Yeah, well, they're in my war stocks, your agriculture.
I know. But they're two separate sectors, but they are part of the war story.
Listen, on that note, Wolfie, it's good to have you back. Good to have your market commentary and Coden. Come on, Coden. We've tried this before. Eventually it will work.
Well, if we try it 100 times, what will work?
All right.
Come on, baby, let's do it.
And anyway, another great call with Elders just doing absolutely brilliantly, and obviously Ampol, good profit there. Wolf, we're still picking still picking this market pretty well.
Definitely hold the Ampol. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Wolfie.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.